Hello. Namaste, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Cricket for Us. And today we're going to talk about a few things that have happened in the world of cricket. Not just today, well, mostly today, but over the past few days as well. This is Cricket for Us 3.0. If you have seen me before from Cricket for Us 2.0 or the original Cricket for Us channel, thank you so much for joining. And basically, the idea of today is I'm going to talk about a few things. And then I'm going to take some of the comments and go through certain conversations with regards to cricket in general, what's happening, etc., and just talk about it. Hopefully, not more than about half an hour or so, but we'll see how time kind of leads us where it leads us. Let's start off with the big shell in the room, for lack of a better term. India absolutely hammering England on day 5, which was just amazing. It was amazing. I didn't expect it. I thought maybe if England kept batting, they were 100 for 0, at one stage. And it looked like maybe England are looking for the draw, but then wickets started to tumble. We saw Shardul Tagore take wickets, Ravi Jadeja eventually bowling some really good deliveries, and then Jasprit Bumrah bowling absolute peaches, getting the ball to reverse. Umesh Yadav coming on with the wickets, right? Every single English batsman after the top 2. I think Joe Root's the only other one who looked kind of comfortable at the crease. Everyone else found it very, very difficult to bat on here. And it was flat. Yes, great batting track, but the Indian bowlers bowled really, really well. So England had to decide, do they go for the win? Do they go for the draw? And that confusion, that pressure is probably what led them to not play some rash shots, but at the same time to kind of get into that jumble of confusion. The end result of that is genuinely, like I said before, is England losing wickets. You saw Burns go, then Milan, then Hamid, then, Pope and Bairstow, eventually Moeen Ali and Root, etc. So England were under pressure, and India just bowled really well with regards to the situation they were in. Thank you, everyone who has joined us over. There's a couple of comments from Zepho. I think we'll have a lot to say. Hashtag Pakistan T20 squad. Yes, I will talk about it. We will talk about it for sure. Zepho says, yesterday, I was thinking to myself, they might put in Khushdil Shah and Asif Ali, and I wake up today finding out that what I thought came true. Yes, those were terrible decisions. Genuinely no reason for it, but I think if I'm trying to play devil's advocate, the only reason for selecting those guys is because Pakistan believes that Azam Khan, Asif Ali, and Khushdil Shah are the only 3 players that can be finishers for Pakistan. No one else in the Pakistani cricket hemisphere can replace them. Pakistan's middle order looks absolutely horrendous. That's what's been troubling them. And there's no Shoaib Malik in the squad, by the way, right? And that's what's been troubling them. And they go in with 3 people who have not delivered in international cricket, in T20 cricket. They do it sometimes in domestic cricket, but they're not good enough. Definitely not good enough. Zepho says, was totally not expecting Fakhar Shajil. Yep, to be dropped. I was expecting at least. Yeah, I think Shajil's been picked, hasn't he? If I'm not wrong. But Fakhar is in the reserve, so that's one positive. Abdullah says, don't mind me. I'll be back in 10 minutes. No problem. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you very much. So it says, hello, Asjad. How are you? I'm doing all right, Suman. Thank you so much for joining. So this is how I'm probably going to do a lot of my videos, at least on this channel, because I'm just petrified of getting this channel shut down as well. But thank you so much for joining. I'm doing okay. Hope you're well as well. Shubham says, hello, Asjad sir. Thank you. Oh, man. Appreciate it very much. Thank you very much for joining, Shubham. You lost your second channel. It's not hard work yet. Yeah, what can I do, right? I'm hoping, praying something works itself out, and then I don't have to delete the channel, or they don't have to delete the channel. Because if they don't, then I'll just stream here, and then I'll do my individual videos on that, and I'll try and figure something out. But that's if that channel doesn't get shut down, which most probably it will by Thursday. So it says, Ad Azad, no, England were not in confusion. They were clearly going for the draw. Suman, at the start of the day, what were they on? They were 100 for 0 at one stage, right? As soon as Burns got out, that's when they had to change their minds. Now, considering the fact that England's defense isn't the greatest, they had to make a decision, and I think the decision was made after the wicket of Ollie Pope. That's when they genuinely made the decision. But I understand where you're coming from there. Daniel Raja, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Nice to see you after a depressing day for Pakistan cricket. It has been a depressing day for Pakistan cricket. Thank you so much for joining. Now says, hello, everyone. Hello, Asja. Thank you, Renel. Thank you so much for joining. Where are we? Hello 3.0. Thank you, Dr. Saab. Thank you very much. Big says, hello, everyone. And to you, Asja. Much appreciated. Sir, ab stream mat karo, bas post match and pre-match preview karo. That's the idea. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do for if the other channel completely disappears, then most probably I'm just going to do that. The only streams that I might do is non-India, or I might do IPL. But even IPL, I'm scared of right now. Harris says, would you have Shoaib Malik, Fakhar Zaman? Yes, I would, Harris. I would definitely include Shoaib Malik and Fakhar Zaman in the Pakistan side. I would even consider Sarfraz Ahmed, but he doesn't warrant a place. Sorry, Azam Khan doesn't warrant a place in the side instead of Sarfraz Ahmed, because Azam Khan hasn't done anything to prove himself. Right? He is almost as inconsistent. I say almost. He's almost as inconsistent as Khushal Shah and Asif Ali. He hasn't gotten to the point where he's like, oh, he's as bad, but he's still not the best player to go with. Okay, genuinely not. Where are we? What about Sarfraz Ahmed? I would have considered him. I would have actually made a couple of bold decisions that people a lot of the time don't go for, which was the fact that I would consider Wahab Riaz in the squad, not in the 11, but in the squad. Wahab Riaz, need that experience in the side. Shoaib Malik, dude is great in subcontinent conditions. Outside subcontinent conditions, there was no need to even pick him. All right. But in subcontinent conditions, Shoaib Malik is a beast for Pakistan. Right. So he needed to be in there. And last but not least, Sarfraz Ahmed, you talked about that. I would say he comes in as a second keeper, but doesn't need to keep playing. Doesn't need to stay in the 11, because I think if Pakistan is going with the Rizwan, Pakistan's going with Babar Azam at the top, then you have, let's say for the sake of argument, even if you don't have Babar at the top, you have Fakhar Zaman at the top with Rizwan, then Babar, then Hafiz, then you've got at 5, you got Malik, right? At 6, you could go in with an all-rounder, because your top 5 is pretty darn stacked. Your top 5 is pretty darn stacked. You don't need to worry about 5, 6, 7, 8 as much. It's a T20. It's not an ODI, right? So you could have Imad Wasim, Shadab Khan, Fahim Ashraf if you really want to, but you don't need Fahim Ashraf, right? Hassan Ali, people might say that's a long tail. It's a T20 game. If Hassan Ali can come in at number 8 and bash a few sixes, I think that's a fair shout. There's no harm in having Hassan Ali at number 8 in a T20 game. So I think that kind of top 8 would have been pretty good from a Pakistani perspective. Excuse me. And then you have Shaheen Afridi, you have Mohammad Asnan. And because it's a UAE, I would say Usman Qadir would have been my go-to. But Usman Qadir is a reserve. Fakhar Zaman is a reserve. Shoaib Malik's nowhere near in sight, right? If Sarfraz Ahmed played, that's when, I would change the batting order just a little bit and take out a bowler and, stick Sarfraz in. But yeah, it's not the greatest selection. No way no way at all. Big says England lost this game with their batting in the first innings, falling at least 100 runs short. Do you know what? Their first innings was pretty good up to a point, and that's when India came back as well. Chris Wokes was great. That 50 was outstanding, right? But barring him in that lower order, no one... Well, actually, let me rephrase that. The top order failed for England in the first innings, right? Burns, Hamid, you could call Joe Root not getting a 50 kind of a fail. But Joe Root, down, like those guys didn't play as well as they had been for quite some time. Ollie Pope scored an 80 odd. You saw Bairstow, you got Moeen Ali, Chris Wokes scoring runs. And because of that, England got to 290. Otherwise, if the top order scored, it would have been past 300 quite easily. They would have got 320, 330. And yeah, I agree. Their batting in that first innings was the issue initially. The doctor says, what was the strike for? Me doing live watch along, the doctor. I was doing a normal watch along as I've been doing for about 8 months, 7, 8 months. And CFA do and all other channels do. And that's why I got striked. Doesn't make sense, but that it is what it is. Harris says, what player selection are you not happy with? Khushal Shah, Asif Ali are the big two. I'm shocked Haris Rauf is still considered, but I'm not going to rave out about Haris Rauf all the time because I do it all the time. I didn't think Haider Ali was going to be picked at all. He's not shown anything to say, oh, Haider Ali is a consistent performer for Pakistan. Like I've said before, there's certain players that are domestically great. There's certain players who are international caliber. Right now, Haris Rauf, Haider Ali, Azam Khan, Khushal Shah, Asif Ali are not international caliber. A few of them, Haider Ali and Azam Khan, can get better and come into the Pakistan side. I think they need more time in domestic cricket, though. Not just a year and a half, right? You need like 3-4 solid years before they can be picked. Excuse me, sorry about that. I'm just going through the comments. Thank you everyone who's joined us. By the way, 10 in the chat, didn't expect it, so thank you very much. Please like, share, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Gotta ask, unfortunately. Shubham says, I literally hate this Sony network. Unko live stream may be issue. I know, right? It's like, why? How like, it doesn't make sense. But the only thing I can think of is Sony's probably taken something from, like, I don't know, they made a deal with BCCI or the ECB to say only our content on YouTube, right? It's crazy. I don't get it. Harris says only 4 reliable players: Hassan, Shaheen, Babar, and Rizwan. Yep. Yeah, those are the 4 that I thought of as well. I think how Hamid was playing, it was a clear indication they were really happy with the draw and are hoping, if it's possible, we'll go for a win in the last session. All right, okay. I can buy that. I'm okay with that. I think that makes sense to me. Prajwal says, hi, hello. Thank you so much for joining, Prajwal. Much appreciated. Please, if you haven't done so already, please do join me on YouTube as well. Like, share, subscribe on Cricket for Us 3.0. Hopefully, it's not a consistent 3.0 and the 2.0 comes back. But yeah, Big says, what is your take on the Pakistan contingent in the CPL? I really like Azam Khan and Naseem Shah. Malik and Hafiz are class acts, but they seem to be slowing down in the batting department. Yep, they have been slowing down. Pakistan personally needs a stronger middle order. So that's why I want Hafiz and Malik with their experience, with the way that they can grind potentially. Those guys I really would like together in the Pakistan T20 lineup. Azam Khan I really like, but I don't like him for the Pakistan squad. I think CPL, he scored a 28 off 30 a couple of days ago, right? If I'm not wrong. So he's doing okay. He's probably the best batsman out of the 3 or 4 that they've picked, which to me were kind of surprises, right? But Azam Khan's great. I just don't think he is ready to be an international player at the moment. Same with Naseem Shah. He's not ready to be an international player. He can play T20 leagues all over the place if he wants to, if both of them want to. But I don't think that they deserve to be in the Pakistan T20 squad. And Naseem Shah hasn't been selected, but that's my take on it at least. Ari says, what about the fast bowlers for Multan Sultans? Did he deserve a spot? Shahnawaz Dahani? Same thing. I keep thinking I'm repeating myself, but I'm talking about the fact that Pakistan keeps picking players on the basis of certain performances in PSL and not looking at domestic cricket as much, right? 1 year of Shahnawaz Dahani, and they're like, oh, he's the sure shot for everything, right? Give him a year. Give him another year, all right? Saud Shakil has toiled for like 4 years, 3-4 years at least. Then he was selected, and he still wasn't given a fair chance, all right? Fawad Alam spent 10 years. Tabish Khan spent 20 years, all right? And then they were given their chances. Yes, Tabish Khan went back again because he didn't have the greatest match, okay? But Fawad Alam took his chance once again and performed really well. So yeah, I don't think Shahnawaz Dahani should have been picked, but he is more of a choice than Mohammad Hussain. Like Mohammad Hussain Jr. does not seem like an obvious choice to me. I think he definitely should have been kept into the back burner, not even in the reserves. Shahnawaz Dahani in the reserves, I'm happy with. I just don't agree with Mohammad Hussain Jr. Ultimately, we need a balanced 11. We do. We need a balanced 11. I agree. Shubham says, soon we will reach 1K subscribers with it. Oh, that is so kind of you, Shubham. I really hope so. That is very kind of you to say. Oh, man, that's really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for that. Damaji is evergreen. Yes, he is evergreen all the time, Dr. Saab. Someone says, what if Rizwan gets injured? So who would you like? I would like Sarfraz over Azam Khan any day of the week, because then Pakistan could have opened with Babar and Waqar, because in a situation where they have Waqar right now, I don't know. They might. I think Sohaib Maqsood is in the side. I just remember his face, but I don't not 100% sure on that. But I would go Babar Azam to open with Waqar, right? You can slot in Sarfaraz. If not at 3, you could slot in a Sarfaraz at 5, definitely. If you have Malik, you could rejig that. So I would definitely go with Sarfaraz over Azam Khan, considering their current tenure and current experience and what they have to offer. I would go Sarfaraz over Azam Khan any day, man. Someone says, Jiju Malik Saab ko select nahi kiya. I know, man. Very, very disappointed. Someone says probably copyright rules are a bit different in UK than US. That's why you get... There's no rules about doing watch-alongs or live streams in the UK. There are I've checked the UK. It's nothing to do with the UK. It is an Indian company doing it to me because I'm streaming an Indian game. That's what I've understood. I'm not 100% that's the reason, but it says Sony Pictures India or something like that, Limited. with Mark Scan, who is an Indian company in Noida, when I researched up on it. And together they've been kind of not just my channel, Night Watchman Cricket Channel, Quality Shot. I know quite a few channels who've now got a strike because of this, which doesn't make sense, but because of doing watch-alongs. But yeah, I thank you for that, Suman. Much appreciated. You reckon Ramiz Raja got them sacked? I reckon that Ramiz Raja got a conversation going with Misbah and Waqar to say, if you're not going to do anything, just step down. Otherwise, we're going to fire you publicly. And then they're like, well, just step down, because this team selection seems like a complete farcical decision. It's not the best call for Pakistan. It definitely is not, right? And it's probably the fact that Mohammad Wasim was told, oh, we're going to choose these people like a day ago. And then those entire plans were torn apart. And the end result is what Pakistan has now, right? Mohammad Wasim didn't look happy with the squad. Misbah and Waqar have resigned. So even if they selected the teams, they've now gone. So people, they aren't accountable in that case. They should be, but they're not accountable anymore. Abdullah says, I would even consider Imran Tahir in the playing 11 for Pakistan. Fawad Ahmed, my 12th man. I love it. Oh, brilliant. Hello, Azad 3.0. Thank you very much, Joy. Thank you for joining. Renel says, was about to say Malik in the T20 side didn't get in, but I take him for experience, etc. Yeah, agreed. 100%. Even if he hasn't done the greatest in the CPL, he hasn't been doing great in the PSL, I would genuinely consider him in the side for T20s, considering how bad Pakistan's middle order has been. Dude, come on. Definitely needs to. Definitely. Harris says, should it not be on form as well? Right, okay. So let's look at form. I agree. Form is great. Form should be considered after you have a certain amount of backing. So would you, again, everyone's different. People might actually say, Azad, you're wrong. And I completely understand where you're coming from. For me, if a person has scored 1,200 runs in 20 games, right? Let's say in any sort of format, right? In domestic cricket, they've played 20 games, they've scored 1,200 runs. But they're like, what, 19? Okay? I'd be like, all right, let's get him in. 20 games. Now, if we have, if we have someone who has genuinely performed very well, but scored, let's say, about 600, 500 runs in 20 games, and he's a hit and miss, I wouldn't bring him in the side. I'd say you need to work on your consistency in domestic cricket before being selected for sure. Yeah, that should. I don't think I can. I would love to, though. I would love to, Renal. So it says, but Sarfaraz didn't get selected, so now you, Pakistan, have to go with Azam in that case. Yeah, they do. They have to go with Azam Khan. And knowing the way Pakistan is selecting at the moment, I feel like Azam Khan makes the 11. He will be batting at number 6 or number 5, depending on who they go with. Do they go with Asif, Khushtal, etc.? So yeah, most probably Azam Khan is going to be in the Pakistan 11. Yeah, have to go with Azam Khan. There's no other option, is there, if Rizwan gets injured. So it feels so good, so proud and joyful that Indian fast bowling attack, whole bowling unit will win the match for us. Dude, Suman, my friend, my fellow viewer of cricket, I must tell you this. India's bowling in this innings was outstanding, right? I tell you, I used to think that, oh, when they're down in the dumps, India does come back. India comes back. But in this game, they came back in stages, right? They came back with the bat, scoring over 400 runs. Then with the ball, they struggled last night, right? They struggled at the end of day 4. And they're like, okay, let's just not change our plans, but keep at it. Just keep at it. And as you said before, maybe you saw from the way Hamid was batting, that England was definitely going for the draw. All right. India found out that they were going for the draw. So India started to attack a lot more. Shardul Thakur bowled really, really well, especially to get Rory Burns out. Then you had Ravi Jadeja bowling at like 60, 61 miles an hour. Yes, you have a lot of deliveries that Jadeja usually bowled at like 60 or 58, 57. Like he changes his pace quite a bit, but a lot of deliveries, his bowling was around the 60 mile an hour mark, sorry. And that was effective. That was really effective on this pitch. He's always great on pitches that will help spinners. He's great otherwise as well. And economical as anything, right? He got, I'm sure he took 2 wickets in this innings. So he bowled really, really well. And I keep talking about Jasprit Bumrah. But Jasprit Bumrah, and someone said in the CFA live stream, right, that Ravi Jadeja actually like spun the ball, bowled quite a bit, and got the ball rough from one side enough so so that the other ball that was the shinier side, when they gave it to Bumrah, the ball started to reverse. And when the ball started to reverse, oh my goodness, Jasprit Bumrah bowled some absolute beauties. I saw the 2 deliveries back to back. Those are the only 2 wickets I saw live today, right? Everything else I caught up to. But the only 2 wickets I saw live were Ollie Pope and Johnny Bairstow. I was like, that is Jasprit Bumrah. That is the Jasprit Bumrah that I love to watch. And definitely, I think India needs to consider playing Ashwin in the second game, in the final game, sorry, the 5th game. Yes, it's going to be raining more likely than not. Old Trafford might have that bounce, or it might be really good for the pace bowlers and not so good for the spinners. But I would play Ashwin. Come on, he went all the way. He went all the way. I think Ashwin deserves at least 1 game, right? Joy says, this Pakistani team selection looks more like a sabotage. It is. Dude, you resign straight after. Definitely. This is sabotage, right? Misbah's like, oh, I was in Jamaica after I was quarantined. I thought about this decision. No, you didn't. You were told that you do this or you do this. He's like, yeah, let's just pick this team. I'm going to go skedaddle. Someone says, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to write you before Pakistan. It's Pakistan team call, not yours. Sorry. Yeah. I know. I think I just understood what you meant. Thanks, though. Shreya says, what's your take on Ashwin not being picked? It wasn't the greatest decision. Yes, India's won at the end. Can't argue the fact India's won the match. They came back really strong. I would have still preferred Ravichandran Ashwin in the side. The plan might have worked, but doesn't it demotivate him and affect performance? Number 2 bowler. I don't think he's that kind of guy. At least it doesn't seem like it to me. And you guys might know a lot better than I do. But the way Ashwin is and the way I've seen Ravichandran Ashwin perform, he is a team player when he is in the side. And even when he's not in the side, he's happy to sit out. All right. And if India's plan was you play Jadeja, you rest Ashwin, at least Ashwin's there to give some advice, right? To kind of guide especially Jadeja. Yes, Jadeja's experienced as well. Ravichandran Ashwin is an absolute gem of a beast. And I said gem of a beast on purpose because he can bat, he can bowl really, really well, right? He would have been a killer on this pitch. Yes, he wasn't selected, but all of that aside, I don't think he considers himself a number 2 bowler, a guy who's got over 400 wickets, right? The guy who actually is going to probably have more test wickets than Nathan Lyon at the end of his career, right? And Nathan Lyon had quite a lot of more wickets than him at one stage, all right? So yeah, Ravichandran Ashwin I don't think he thinks that way. It shouldn't demotivate him either. Ideally, normal people, I would probably get demotivated. But because of the fact that he's been playing in this Indian team for so long, he knows how plans work. It's all about strategy. It's all about plans, right? And the plan was executed well. At the end of the day, India won the match, and that's all that matters from an Indian perspective. But yes, I think Ashwin deserved a place in this game and deserves a place in the next one as well. So the 2 Yorkers he bowled to Root were amazing. Yeah, there was. I agree. Because Root just got his bat down just at the right time. Joy says both Umesh and Shardul played fantastically. So who would you drop to get Ashwin in? Unpopular opinion, Joy. I drop Siraj. I drop Siraj to get Ashwin in because I would be like, yeah, all right. Ashwin can come in. He can bowl. He can bat at number 9 for the sake of argument, or 8, whatever you want to pick. Because Shardul Thakur's doing well with the bat. He's doing okay with the ball too. Umesh Yadav bowled really, really well. So the only person, just based on this performance, I actually rest Siraj. I'll say Ashwin comes in. Instead of Siraj. Now, another thought is that what if India rests a couple of players? Now, India wants to win the series. No arguments there. India wants to win the series. They're not going to rest Bumrah. They're not going to rest these players. They probably thought Siraj has played 4 out of 4. Bumrah has played 4 out of 4. One of those guys, maybe we can, drop and then, rest and then bring in Ashwin. That's my thought. So for me, Siraj goes and they bring in Ashwin. Someone says, do you think India will play 3 seamers, Shami, Ishant and Umesh with Ashwin and Jadeja in the last test? If Shami and Ishant are fit, that's not a bad shout. The rest, the Shardul thing is going to be a tricky because I know Shardul only played because of an injury, but he played so well. It's really difficult to kind of drop him, if you know what I mean. But if India does, that just shows you how bold and how strong they are in that sense, right? That they're willing to drop the guy who's probably, in my opinion, the man of the match, not Rohit Sharma. For me, man of the match should have been Shardul Thakur with the way he bowled and especially the way he batted. I would have given it to him. So it's a really interesting call. It's a very strong call. But if they do that, that'll be pretty good. I think that would show a positive intent from an Indian perspective, and that would be a pretty killer bowling attack as well. And you rest up Bumrah and what do you call it, and Siraj, because they played a lot of cricket. Those two played so much cricket recently, and plus the IPL's coming up and T20 World Cup. Yes, I know Siraj isn't playing the T20 World Cup. Most probably isn't playing, but Bumrah is, right? So you need to kind of manage that, and I think India will manage that quite well. Joy says I would drop Siraj too, but 2 spinners in Old Trafford. It's a bold call, and I know someone else. I think Nasser Sen and Shane Warne were talking about this just before I joined, and they said it's not likely you play 2 spinners in Old Trafford, but if you are going to have rain there, right? If the weather's not going to be great, you're going to get that bounce. It might be a plus of playing 2 spinners there. Ideally, you go four seamers and a spinner, but Ashwin is great. He can bowl it on most tracks in the world, right? Even if it's Old Trafford. It is bold, but I might actually go for that. Someone says, Asjad, not unpopular decision. Even I rested Siraj and even Bumrah too. All right, okay. Fair enough. That's nice. Glad. Someone says Shardul will play if conditions are cloudy. I think Bumrah should be rested, if not Siraj. I think Siraj personally, 100%. Bumrah only if Ishant and Sharmi both are fit. Now I'll just say you bring them in. And even though India loves to go for the killer blow and win the game and win the series 3-1, I think they should, even if they win 2-1, for the sake of argument, even if India wins 2-1, they should be happy. They just can't lose the next one. That should be the plan. In terms of, like I said, I was going to talk about Pakistan and the Pakistan T20 World Cup squad. Right? I was going to talk about the India England match, and I think I've kind of touched on most of those bases. I quickly want to talk about, the fact that Bangladesh New Zealand T20 series is going on, which is looking really, really good. There's 2 matches to go, and Bangladesh are leading 2-1 right now. And if we talk about the South Africa Sri Lanka series, so a lot of the teams are playing right now, and it's a 1-all system at the moment. We'll have to see. We'll have to see where we get to with regards to that, because there's quite a bit of not practice, quite a bit of thinking that needs to be done from the Sri Lankan point of view and from the South African point of view. That's my take on it, at least. But yeah, definitely, guys. Thank you so much, everyone who's joined us. It's been great. It's been great. I haven't done a live stream since Friday, and I pray that the channel doesn't get shut down. I'm just hoping the channel doesn't get shut down. But yeah, thank you everyone who's joined us. Thank you for the support. Thank you for subscribing to the new channel. Honestly, it's really cool that you've done that. It really, really helps. And hopefully, if God forbid, if the other channel does shut down completely, then I've got some sort of basis to start upon on this one, because it's scary. It's scary working hard on a specific channel and then that going and getting shut down and stuff. But in the end, let's look at the positive. Pakistan released their squad, at least, right? At least they didn't wait till the end, but it's not the best decision. There've been a lot of criticisms, and I would definitely not have picked Khustil Shah, Asif Ali, or Haris Rauf, probably even not, right? I'm surprised no Fakhar Zaman, no Wahab Riaz, and no Shoaib Malik. Shoaib Malik's the big one for me. Shoaib Malik should have been a sure shot in the side, but he's not. He's not, and we'll have to see how things go. And I have to do this video about defending Pakistan and how Pakistan is potentially going to win the World Cup. I don't see it anymore after the selection. And then from an Indian and England series perspective, India played spectacularly well. Sensational cricket on day 5. They bowled really well, right? After basically having a really, really strong opening stand from England, India came back and bowled well. And England were put in under pressure, and they lost wickets, and India just bowled a lot better than I expected, right? Not I expected, a lot better than England probably would have thought on a flat deck like this. The fast bowlers, this is where India's fast bowlers would actually excel, because it's a flat pitch. It's a flat track. Ronald says India will release tomorrow. I heard that as well. If they do, that would be pretty cool. I was thinking of doing like a reaction for all these, but I'm probably going to hold off on that and do some sporadic videos if on this channel as well. I'll try it at least. And yeah, that's really cool if India releases tomorrow. Thank you very much for that. Ibrahim Yusuf Umar says, hi, what are your thoughts on Pakistan squad? Why is Asif Ali back? Asif Ali is back because Asif Ali and Khustil Shah Pakistan board or management's perspective is those are the only two finishers Pakistan has. Okay, those are the only two guys who, on occasion, can easily bat at like 180 strike rate from the get-go, which shouldn't be the basis of selecting someone into the side. They are not consistent. They do not perform when Pakistan needs them most. And the last point is Asif Ali's only back because Pakistan didn't want to pick Shoaib Malik. I'm pretty sure, was it Muhammad Wasim or was it Misbah? I can't remember. They had an issue with Shoaib Malik. All right. And Shoaib Malik wasn't going to get selected. And now he isn't. All right. He's not been selected. And the worst case scenario for Pakistan has kicked in. Pakistan needed to get some experience back into the side to help the young players that are in and around there. Even I wouldn't call Babar Azam the young players, one of the young players. I would put Hasnan as a young player, Usman Qadir as one of the young players. All right, if he was selected. So that's not the best call. Khushdil Shah has not performed right in the UAE. He's had a couple of good innings, but he's not been secure or he's not been consistent at all. Asif Ali, everyone knows about Asif Ali, not the best shout. All right. And then we have to talk about Haris Rauf. And if Pakistan have Shaheen Afridi and they have Hassan Ali and they want just some extra pace, all right? If you want a death bowler who goes for runs and takes wickets, Wahab Riaz is right there. But he wasn't selected either. Yes, Wahab Riaz isn't in the best of form. And I know Haris was talking about it before that. Should you not look at form as well? You look at form. But Khushdil Shah, Asif Ali, Haris Rauf, none of them are in form either, right? Oh, it's crazy. Ibrahim says South Africa are releasing their squad on Thursday. That's cool. That's awesome. Thank you, Ibrahim. I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know. Mati Rajan says, hey, Azza, what's exactly happening in Pakistan cricket? So, first thing that's happened is Ramiz Raja was selected as the chairman of the board. Based on that, more likely than not, he probably had a discussion with Muhammad Wasim and Misbah Haq and Waqar Younis about a couple of points and kind of not giving them the ultimatum, but said, basically, you got to leave. You got to leave, or else we'll publicly humiliate you and kick you out of the PCB and the management, the coaching staff. So apparently, Misbah Haq has said, I thought about it, all that good stuff, but there's probably some sort of inside pressure with regards to Misbah Haq and Waqar Younis both stepping off, and somewhere that kind of thing happening that happens in Pakistan cricket all the time, just before a World Cup, just before a big tournament, where they scrap everything and then want to start from zero. In this case, at least, they scrapped some of the things, but didn't bring back the things that I wanted. And they scrapped the bits that I did want in the side. And now they've brought back Asif Ali and Khushdil Shah. I'm going to keep talking about them. Azam Khan, I genuinely think he's a great talent. He just needs more time. He just needs more time to develop before pushing him into the side. I think West Indies, India, South Africa, they're all releasing their squads. I'm probably going to start doing videos on them in like a week or so. If 3.0 exists and 2.0 doesn't, probably going to do shorter videos. But if it's either or, then I might do longer videos. I don't know. But thank you for that. Thank you, Ranel. So is Misbah not going to coach? No. Misbah has resigned effective immediately. Same with Waqar Younis. It's probably going to be Saqlain Mushtaq and Abdur Razak, which is hilarious because they've just been appointed. I think Saqlain Mushtaq is head of, I can't remember. Basically in the NCA, they've got this specific role where he goes out and picks out new players. I can't remember the exact title, but he's basically the guy who finds young talent. And now he's the coach of Pakistan. Abdur Razak is the coach of two domestic sides who have done well. All right. A domestic side, as well as he's included in the PSL coaching side of things as well. And pushing him into this role, I don't understand why that's happening. I don't know if that's the right shout. I know they talked to Andy Flower and he said no, which would have been ideal. Pakistan genuinely needs a foreign coach to be able to work effectively. That's my belief, at least. I haven't seen Pakistan do amazingly well with a Pakistani coach, unfortunately. Suman says India will probably announce a squad tomorrow. That would be great. Renel says they should have done this after the World Cup ends. Yeah, I agree. I agree. That's what everyone was talking about. So after the England series, I was like, okay, Pakistan's going to scrap, or Pakistan's going to remove Misbah al-Haq or Waqar Younis. But they waited a month. They waited a month, and then they realized a month and a bit, sorry. And then they realized, oh, okay, let's do the West Indies tour with Misbah and Waqar. And yeah, okay, let's go on this road to the World Cup and then just scrap him in the middle. It doesn't make sense. This is not the best time to scrap your entire plan, right? And then bring in players that weren't even in, like Asif Ali and Khushbu Shah, no one even thought they were going to be in the squad. It makes no sense. Will this affect the players going forward to the World Cup? Yes, I believe so. Now, I'm pretty sure of that. And I'm telling you, I have to change my decision about Pakistan potentially making the semis. This team doesn't look, I know it's only a few players, but a few players make a huge difference in Pakistan. In any team, to be honest. Everyone says this was not the right time for Misbah and Waqar to resign. What happened to South Shakil? What are your thoughts on the interim coaches for Pakistan? I think the glamours, both of them are smart people. They're very smart at cricket strategy. They're very good at what their jobs have been. But is this the right decision? Is this the right time to bring both of them in? I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't know. My opinion is, if they were going to resign, it's not the right time. And Saklan and Abdul Razak are great. They can definitely do something, but they have to start from scratch now. They have to start from scratch because they've been given this team that Pakistan needs to take to the T20 World Cup. Doesn't make sense. Yeah, I think I've talked about that. Madhurjan says, is Pakistan going through troubling times, silver lining? Troubling times, it's always in troubling times, but yeah, silver lining is the fact that, Pakistan hasn't scrapped players like Rizwan or Hafiz or Babar or Shaheen or Hassan or Shadab even, or Imad. Imad came back, and I'm glad Imad's still on the side, right? But I knew it was going to be Nawaz or Imad. They weren't going to take both, right? Fakhar Zaman, I'm shocked about. I genuinely thought Fakhar Zaman would have been in the side. In the genuine 15, not in the reserves. I thought he was going to be in the genuine 15. Silver linings, like I said, the only thing is maybe Pakistan plays with Mohammad Wasim Jr. and he does well, and Azam Khan does well, and I'm proven wrong. But it's really unlikely that Khushbu Shah and Asif Ali are going to benefit Pakistan in this World Cup. Renel says, know your pain. I watched the whole stream, and to be honest, looks like Aaron is winning. Renel, yeah, India's got that, and I don't see Pakistan, England, India final anymore. I genuinely thought there was a chance, but not anymore. No chance at all. But yeah, thank you. 8 people in the chat still. I'm so honored. Thank you, everyone who's joined us. Please do like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already to Cricket for Us 3.0. I'm going to, I don't know how often I'm going to stream or anything. I will be on Oz, and I'll send a link out on Cricket for Us 2.0 if you guys do want to join tomorrow around this time as well. We'll just be talking about the India-England review. We're going to talk in a bit more detail about each of the innings, what was good, what was bad, and I'd love to take your questions in there as well. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Thank you so much for joining. And last question here by Ibrahim. Sorry, why is Usman Qadir in reserve instead of the main squad? Only thing is, Pakistan feels as though they can't have 2 leg spinners in the main squad, which just doesn't make sense. And Shadab Khan's been selected, so they're like, oh, Usman Qadir is a reserve. Fine, he's a reserve. I bet the New Zealand series and the England series will cause a few changes. I think. Hello, Nick. Thank you so much for joining. Much appreciated. I was going to sign off shortly, but I'm going to join now. I'm going to stay for a few more minutes at least. Because I know Joy's got a question here as well. Who do you think will be spinning for Indian team in the World Cup? I would like to see Varun Chakravarti, and I would also like to see Rahul Chahar. And people might say, what? No Ashwin, no this. I think Jadeja's in the squad anyway. Jadeja's already in the squad for me. For spinners, like genuine spinners, I would go with Varun Chakravarti and Rahul Chahar as the 2 spinners. Maybe they go Chahal as a potential, but I don't think Chahal is in that kind of nick. Chahal, for me, has not lost the plot, but I think Chahal is definitely the guy who I would consider as a potential reserve if I had to pick that. Yeah, I wouldn't go Yuzi Chahal, unfortunately, Jay, but I appreciate that. I think a lot of people would put him straight into the squad, but I would be a bit wary of the fact that he's not been in the best of nick for a bit of time, at least. Boring reviews. Nick says, quick question. I was watching Ian Bell's dismissal, and then Dhoni reversed the appeal from 2011. What are your thoughts on a captain changing his decision for spirit of the game? Wow, that's a great question. So if we consider spirit of the game as a big deal, which I usually do, not all the time, usually do, I think it's not the right. I think it's the right call for him to call back the batsman to say, "Oh no, that's not out. Bring him back. Don't be unfair on that guy." So that's my take on it, at least. However, the umpire should be not enforcing, but there shouldn't be any fines, because I know there are a lot of fines in cricket. There's a lot of different things that come into play where because of certain decisions you can't do this, or you do this. Like KL Rahul got fined for something, right? In that first innings or second innings. So second innings, sorry. So I think certain rules like that in cricket shouldn't be taken so strictly. So my take from your question, Nick, is that is the right thing to do. That is the best thing to do from a cricketing perspective, from a fair game perspective. That is in the spirit of the game, and I think that's something that definitely these other captains should explore, especially when they're fielding, especially when there are decisions that go against the batsman. You can call them back and say, "No, you're not really out." Okay, I think that's good. I personally think that's the best way to look at it. But a lot of people might disagree. They say, "No, the umpire decision is final. Great umpire decision, final, but it's the wrong decision. It's the wrong decision." Jay says, all depends on the IPL, I think. Yeah, there will be definitely be some injuries and replacements later on, I think. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Definitely I wouldn't disagree with that whatsoever. Joy says, has Shardul Thakur replaced out of form Hardik Pandya as an all-rounder in T20 World Cup? Ooh, that's a good question. Right. This is where I refer to Jay Joshi's comment just above yours, Joy. I think Hardik Pandya needs to have a really good IPL. But Shardul Thakur has shown his prowess with the bat. He's shown that he can swing the ball as well. And it's in the UAE. Now, Hardik Pandya can bat like an absolute beast in the UAE. So that's one of the reasons why I would say he's probably Thakur's hasn't replaced him fully, because I think Hardik Pandya is still a better hitter. He's a bigger hitter on slightly better pitches. But still, he's a better batsman than Shardul Thakur, in my opinion. So I don't think he's completely replaced him, but he's on the road to replacing Hardik Pandya at this stage. Definitely on the road to that. In Test cricket, he might do. In Test cricket, he might do. But for T20s, I don't see it at the moment. J. Joe, she says, by the way, do you think Krunal will make the squad? And Wash is injured at the moment, isn't he? Krunal won't. I don't think Krunal will. Especially India's best 11 or best 15, Krunal doesn't get in because you have the option of Jadeja as the left arm off spin first and the batsman, and then Akshar Patel as well. So I think Jadeja takes that spot. With Washington Sundar, if he's fit, he might get a chance. If he's fit, he might actually get selected. But I think they might go for, if he's put him in that, asterisk bracket that, if he's fit, then he's in the 15. Otherwise, they go with someone else. But that's not a bad shout. Boring reviews. Nick says, more context. Ian Bill thought it was a boundary and it was a live ball, and he went to the other stumps thinking it was T. Oh. Thank you for context, Nick. I think I'm talking about a completely different thing in that case. But I think if a batsman has made a mistake and the other captain realizes and he's trying to uphold the spirit of the game, that's fine. But they shouldn't be chastised if they take advantage of it. Let's put it that way. I think it's the right thing to do, but if they don't do it, doesn't mean it's the wrong thing, if you know what I mean. Right? Asja, that was clearly Bell's fault because Sachin asked Dhoni to take the appeal back. I didn't know Sachin asked Dhoni about that. I had no clue. Thank you very much. Where are we? Shreya says, Nick, crowd also should act responsibly. They were booing so much that it was best Dhoni took it back and showed them how we try and play fair. All right. Those is Brendan McCullum and Daniel Vittori when they were captaining New Zealand. They both called batsmen in after they were given out. True gentlemen of the game. Yep, I can't disagree with that. Was clearly out. It was totally his fault. He was playing at an international level, and he thought ball went to the boundary, and umpire didn't even give it 4. He was taking a morning walk. All right. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't think you're wrong. I'm just saying to uphold the spirit of the game. I think it's a great thing to do. I just don't think if you don't do it, you're a bad person. You know what I mean? Where are we? Players shouldn't reverse appeals due to crowds. I'm sure it was not that. All right. Yeah, sure. As the crowd was upset and Bell was in the wrong, but as a fan of myself, it is their right to boo as long as they aren't throwing objects or having Jarvo step onto the pitch and running. I don't know if you guys, what you guys think about Jarvo doing this 3 times in this series, but I have genuinely thought it's put the game off. It's put me off just a little bit, not of cricket in general, but it's just the fact that crowds are allowed again. I haven't been too happy about it. But thank you very much, Nick. Thank you so much for the question and the comments and the discussions in the chat. Everyone, thank you so much. Washi's ruled out of the IPL. Thank you. Yeah, okay. He's ruled out of the IPL. That means that he might not even be fit for the T20 World Cup. So it's going to be tough if he gets actually picked for that. No Sundar won't get selected. He's not playing IPL also. Yep. Nick, I think Bell was out. It'd have been perfectly fine if he hadn't recalled him. But we Indians are a bit too generous sometimes. I agree with you. Yes, Nick has to be agreed with a lot of the time because Nick is a smart man. So is everyone in the chat. Thank you, everyone who's joined us. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please do go over to Cricket for Americans and go over to Cricket for Us 2.0 if it still exists. And subscribe over there. Cricket for Us 2.0. Jay Joshi says, do you think it'll be fair on Ayer if they retain Pant as the captain of DC for the remainder of this IPL season? Yeah, of course. I think it's fair because Shreyas was injured. The idea was that they stick with Rishabh Pant. They've announced him as the captain. But if Shreyas Iyer is completely fit and he's 100% playing, then you give it to Iyer. But if Iyer is still not 100%, I don't know. Again, I know he's played a bit. I don't know if he's 100% fit. And if he's considered in the IPL, if he's playing in the resumption of the IPL, then obviously I'd give it to Shreyas Iyer as the captain, right? Because he's the original captain. Rishabh Pant is there as a replacement, you know? Suman says, yes, Sachin in the lunch break or in tea break, as Dhoni to consider taking appeal back. Okay. Wow. Didn't know that. That means Sachin Tendulkar is a very, very nice man as well. Jay says, Iyer is fully fit and ready to go. In that case, I think Iyer needs to come back into the DC squad and he needs to be captain of the DC squad. Even though Rishabh Pant's done an all right job after the 3rd game. I think he did a pretty decent job after the 3rd game. But yeah. Suman DC has announced Pant to be captain this year IPL. So that's my point. So if they've announced the captain, the original captain still stands, right? Or is it that, oh no, because we announced the initial captain, now we're going to stick with that captain all the way through? Because if that's a rule and that's a law of the IPL and whatever, then obviously Pant stays. But in my opinion, I think Shreyas Iyer needs to be captain because he was the original captain of the side, right? But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Ibrahim says Iyer is fit and is already in Dubai training. Oh, if he's doing those 6s, man. Those 6s with the eyebrow up. Oh, man. Shreyas Iyer, when he's on form, he looks so good. I still remember that 83 he scored. Can't remember. It was in the UAE. It was the IPL 2020 where he just played a majestic innings of 83. Batted like a boss, like 20-odd balls. It was amazing. So yeah, definitely. Thank you, everyone. There's still 7 in the chat. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It's been amazing. I didn't think I was going to last this long. I was going to go after half an hour. But thankfully, we got a few more people here who wanted to have discussions. Nick joined. Jay Joshi joined. Someone joined, and Ibrahim as well. And Joy. Thank you, everyone who has joined us. Please like, share, subscribe to Cricket for Us 3.0. Really helps the channel. Really helps the video. I really need the help, honestly. With regards to this specific channel. But thank you very much for joining, man. And yeah, until next time, everyone, take care, stay safe. And I've just seen a comment. Let me just read this comment from Joy. I just don't understand why Iyer is never considered in the test contention. I don't know. Is it like in terms of first class cricket, right? I'm sure he has an average above 40 odd. I'm sure he has an average of 45 or something like that. Last I checked. Right. But let me see his stats. Oh, he hasn't played first. Has he not played? I'm sure he's played first class cricket. What is Google talking to me about? Google's lying to me, guys. Right. First class cricket. He averages 52.1. Okay. I think he could be considered. 100% he could be considered. Short ball in Iyer goes out. Interesting. Do you think he should be at least in the conversation? Yes, short ball, he's not the greatest against the short ball, but in Test cricket, maybe he can just learn to duck because he's averaging 52. Yes, I know it's India, in India, all that good stuff. But Shreyas Iyer is a great talent. Great talent. Matirajan says elbow cup. Thank you very much, Matirajan, for joining here as well. Join on Twitch and join here. Thank you very much. And yeah, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Until next time, take care. Bye. Stay safe. And I will let you guys know next time I stream. I'll let you guys know if the channel survives. Otherwise, I'll catch you on here. Thank you so much. Until next time, take care.